Greetings, listeners. Does this sound like you? You don't know what to watch next? Mindlessly scrolling down one streaming service, then another, and another, only to end up watching the same episodes of The Office you've seen 1,000 times? Not to worry. We here at the Half-Ass Podcast Network got you covered. Because we also know what the fuck we're watching next. Our next movie is always a mystery, always unknown. It's always to be determined. That's right, we let Tubi determine what we watch next, and you should too. So pour your beverages, pop your popcorn, and come along on a journey with us where our destinations are always to be determined. Welcome back, everyone, to a brand new episode of To Be Determined. I am your host, the J-Man, and with me, as always, my partner in crime, Ron. What are we sipping on tonight?
This is a Red Bobber. It's a raspberry ale. It's out of Appleton, where my kid goes to college. Their flagship beer is Blue Bobber. It's a blueberry ale, which is very good. And then the last time I went up there, I found this variation, and I was quite pleased.
Do they have a yellow bobber that's a lemon shandy?
No, but this is essentially a clone of a beer out of Davenport. They have a blonde called Cherry Bomb Blonde, and
nice.
It's a cherry blonde ale. This is super similar to that with different fruit. So I've got some of those in the fridge too, actually.
Nice. I enjoy a good fruited beer.
Me too, if they do it right. You got to do it right.
In the summer, nice like, little crisp, not too soury vibes, but just you're getting just enough fruit just to seize the day right there in a summer day. Definitely hits best with summer. And as I was talking about in the pregame, I'm powering through this whiskey, which this will be my drink of choice when we do Tubi, because I'm powering through some of these movies. That Four Roses, that's just a little bit too strong for my taste. Great Coke and whiskey mixer, but not great by itself. A little too strong for my taste.
We recorded the Nostalgia Pit earlier today, and I had the Old Granddad out, so I was already drunk.
I didn't know that was an actual. I didn't know it was an actual like brand. The only time I'd ever heard of it was in Bad Santa, when she says another Old Granddad, and I just thought that was a drink.
Oh,
I didn't realize it was an actual.
He's probably just drinking bourbon straight. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So, well, I don't think any of us got Bad Santa on our list. So let's talk about the movies we did get chosen for us by Tubi.
Yeah. This one, I swear I've seen before, and now that I've seen it, I'm still not quite sure I've seen it before. I didn't have it rated like or dislike, so I'm not sure. Not sure why I have this opinion. But what I got was 70s classic. We use that air quotes. Future World. Not everything is as it seems in a futuristic theme park for adult fantasies. When Future World reopens, two reporters uncover a dark secret.
Even in your wildest imagination, there has never been a place like Future World. It's the ultimate resort, the ultimate ego trip, the ultimate dream come true, and the ultimate nightmare. Peter Fonda, Blythe Danner, Arthur Hill, and Yul Brynner as the gunslinger in Future World, rated PG.
Yeah, it really.
The static.
I know.
Static. Oh, just play that static all day long. I don't care.
I know. I cut some off the beginning. I shouldn't have.
Nah, man. I can just remember, I still have one of those old TVs, so the old static still comes in there. Not as much as like an 80s or 70s, would with that. But like when I watch a VHS and that static's there, I'm like, yeah. Just like I'm sure like you love the pops with the record, so that sound.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's that tone. Yeah, it's different. Yeah, this one, I said I was kind of anxious to watch this to see if I was rewatching it, but considering how how much I didn't know about it even going through it. I don't think I've seen it. Maybe I have. Maybe I was super high. I don't know. It didn't really.
That is a possibility, Ron.
It is. So you know what? I'm just going to stop babbling. I'm going to get to it. And now, our Super 70s presentation. All right. So, we start with a dude named Ron, as he is the big winner on a game show, and the prize is that he can go to one of multiple worlds. Medieval world, West world, or future world. I can only assume that this is something like a Disney World, that type of deal, but it looks like Ron is off to future world. So, cut to Peter Fonda. He is one smooth newspaper reporter. And I put smooth in air quotes because he is not. So he gets an anonymous phone call from a guy with some information, as happened all the time in the 70s. So he goes to meet the guy, and when he shows up, the guy falls over with a very poor excuse for a blood stain on his back, and then says something cryptic before he dies. But no time for that, because now our reporter is off to attend a meeting where they're talking about a problem that they had at Future World, where the robots went AWOL and started murdering people. That's right, 50 dead, the guy calmly says, as they just then move on to talk about how it's totally fine and shouldn't be a problem. So
This
now
sounds
I'm...
eerily familiar of what's going on with this world. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the literate guy's like, well, 50 people dead. 50 dead and wounded totaled. Yeah, the dead and wounded totaled at 90 when we were done, a lot of staff. And then he just kind of glosses on how, all right, well, that shouldn't happen again. So, moving on. So I'm left to assume that this whole movie is going to be the robots rising up to overtake the humans in a dystopian future. But I don't know. That's my guess. So now we've got a TV reporter. She's a tiny blonde chick, and she doesn't like Peter Fonda because he, as she's repeatedly mentioned, he fired her when she was a young reporter. Oh, that was just business, he says. So now we've established tension between our unlikely duo, who's being put on the story specifically to get good publicity out there for Future World when things reopen and go off without a hitch.
Did they say what year Future World was?
No, see, that's just the name of the world. So I'm not even
Okay.
sure if this is a dystopian future, a dystopian
Gotcha.
present, or maybe it's not even dystopian. I'm not sure what's happening. But anyway, now they're off on a plane with our game show winner, Ron. Oh, and a side note, you can totally fuck the robots in Future World. And Ron is...
I feel like we're here. I feel like this is our world.
Yeah, Ron is very pumped for this.
As one should be.
Right. So Ron is very pumped for this. In fact, he even asks our reporter if she's gonna. Going to what? She says. That's right. He just asked her if she's gonna bang one of the robots. All right, Ron, way to get out of the first 10 minutes, buddy. So you gonna fuck them robots, pretty lady? I'm gonna fuck them. Yeah, the whole thing was pretty creepy. Okay. So apparently,
long, by the way.
oh yeah, it was cut it short. So apparently what they do is they have a simulated adventure where they dress these people up like astronauts in spacesuits, and that's suits that basically look like they're wrapped in packing material, and that they have Christmas presents under the front and the back. And I mean those flat rectangle boxes, you know what I mean? One's definitely a fucking shirt. So now the two guides that go with them on this trip, they're going to take them on a simulated rocket launch. They strap them in, the whole deal. You know, I did one of these at Great America. Blast off, trip to the moon, fly around a couple times. The inevitable near disaster. Thankfully, I had come down enough off the 7 hits of acid at that point that it was enjoyable instead of terrifying. But let me digress. Let's see. We cut to some
And
sort of...
let me guess though. It was your help was what saved the day, right? Just you,
No,
by the way.
no,
Yeah.
I couldn't do nothing. I was just looking at the guy next to me laughing.
It's always like, thanks for your help. You saved
Yeah.
the day. And you're heroes.
I just sat here, twitching. So now we go to some sort of control center where they're monitoring all the guests right down to their pupil dilation for some reason. Let's see. It is being overseen by an overly concerned supervisor guy. But don't worry, because he's going to be offset by dramatically under-concerned scientist guy. What if something goes wrong? Nothing can go wrong. Like, oh, we got foreshadowing of our impending sentient robot massacre? I don't know. Say what you will, but the 70s completely nailed the large screens with inexplicable futuristic-looking computer-generated graphics. Like, oh, wow, that circle is morphing and flipping inside out and vibrating and changing colors. It looks scientific. The future has arrived. The other thing they nailed is dystopian futures. Although this is looking more like a dystopian present, the world feels very similar to Rollerball, where the future looks amazingly like the 70s. You know, nothing screams futuristic science-based society like velour bell-bottom suits. We have those. Oh, shit! We've got full-scale Rock'em Sock'em robots, where the gloves that you wear control the robots that look like humans.
Humans this, humans that, who cares?
So, I mean, this beats the shit out of the tree incinerating pistols that we had in Rollerball. This is live action. Dude's flair, it was pretty good.
This sounds like my Robo Jocks movie where all man came down to the one battle of one-on-one robots.
Yeah. So then we get a tense exchange between Peter Fonda and a friendly robot who he accuses of lying to him. Now he realizes maybe the robots are in on it. In on what? We still have no fucking idea. Let's see. They're giving you a lot of the entertainment from the various worlds around the park. They're spending a lot of time with this Asian dude in the medieval world. Like, enough time that I'm starting to think maybe he's going to be important? I don't know. But the shit they're showing is just basic shit, like jousting. But it's supposed to be amazing and cool because the dudes doing it are supposed to be robots. But I know it's just an Asian dude in a helmet, so to me this just plays out like a shitty, unnecessary jousting scene. So Peter Fonda is now on a mission. He is sending the blonde chick to flirt with any random dude in this control room that they're still in. Must be part of his master plan. But she's abruptly ignored and shut down, prompting Fonda to interrogate the scientist about what's wrong with them. Well, clearly they're robots. But the reporters cannot believe it. They can't believe it. You're in a whole fucking place that's almost entirely populated with robots who are doing everything, including goddamn jousting! But they couldn't be monitoring cameras.
That's a stretch.
So now we get a scene with a random, unestablished character who's with two of the sex robots, and he can't decide. So they tell him to just fuck both of them. But aw shucks, he couldn't possibly. He's just a simple human. So now all I can think about is imagine being the poor dude whose job it is to hose the cum out of these sex robots. Just 8 hours with a pressure washer set on low, spraying down the synthetic vagina so the next sad, pathetic man from Nebraska can fuck it. I just know they reserve that job for an actual human. Let's see. Oh, we've got some nefarious shit going on. What I can only assume is robots dressed all in red, drugging and kidnapping the guest, which again I can only assume is part of some master plan to make robot copies, because this thing is so fucking stupid that is the only option. Let's see. I assume we've got to copy these reporters to cover up our dark secret, which I can only imagine is so dumb I couldn't guess it if I tried. So if they're making robot copies and then harvesting these people's organs, I could understand that. That's straightforward. Point A to point B. Generating revenue. A solid business model. But whatever they're hiding, I'm sure it's so convoluted that the underpants gnomes would blush.
Hey, what's phase 2? Phase 1, we collect underpants. Yeah, but
So with 1 hour left, they finally decide to do some unauthorized exploring, and they go to the power room where a robot walks right past them. It's a 400 model.
Is there a sign that just says power room?
No, they mention it multiple times.
Oh, okay.
Let's go to the power room. Like,
I was like, just imagining a door with like the placard on it, power room.
it probably did. I was not paying close attention by this point. So a robot walks right past them, and he looks at her and says, "It's a 400 model. It's programmed not to stop us. Are you sure?" "No."
What?
"Yeah, I'm fucking serious. I had to rewind it and make sure that that's what was said. It's programmed not to stop us.
I guess.
Are you sure?" "Nuh-uh." And then they just move on.
And no follow to the nah.
Yeah, it would have been better if you just, "No, I don't know. I just made it up."
I don't know. I'm yanking your chain.
Yeah, you want to have sex when this is all done? So then a more different robot spots them, and he is onto them. He must be a
Is he
500
model.
That's what I say. He must be a 500 model who's programmed to follow them. Am I sure? No. Did it add anything to the movie? No. So at this point, I started cooking steaks and missed a bunch of stuff, and I don't think it's going to fucking matter. I guess the robot that found them is either not a robot or is on their side or both. I don't know. Doesn't fucking matter.
Fembot.
Yeah. Anyway, they get busted by the under-concerned scientist guy from earlier. And apparently, the dude is a human because he's drinking gin and playing cards with his robot pal who doesn't wear his human face. So that's cool. He gets to hang with his robot friend. I love that.
Hey there, have you heard about my robot friend? He's metal and small and doesn't judge me at all. He's a cyber wire bundle of joy, my robot friend.
I love it. He's just playing
I'm gonna
cards.
go with, unless we have a robot movie. That sounded I'm making it again. But
Not getting used again? Yeah.
we gotta have all right. After our next theme month, we're gonna do robot themes, just so I can hear that again.
And he doesn't wear the human face, so he's just all exposed wires and shit.
Man.
And they play cards, and the human drinks gin, and it's enjoyable. So now we get a weird, unnecessary dream sequence with the reporter, the red robots, and a bald cowboy robot. Okay?
Yeehaw.
Yeah. I gotta say, I am liking the interplay between the human guy behind the scenes and his faceless robot that he plays cards and gets drunk with. Is so good. Half hour left. Our genius reporter finally decides to pump this behind the scenes contact that he has for the fucking information he's been looking for the entire movie. Then we get more attempt.
In the first act, there would be no movie.
Right. He's like, "You met this guy how long ago? Why'd you ask him what the fuck's going on?" We get a more attempted artsy sequences where we discover that I was correct. They did make robot copies of the reporters, and that's the big secret. They're copying famous and powerful people. I honestly liked the organ harvesting idea better. 20 minutes left when our nervous supervisor from earlier gets the drop on the reporter with a gun. "Oh, who could have guessed my plan of inviting investigative reporters and giving them unfettered access to the facilities would have led to my evil plan being discovered?" Fucking dolt. You invited reporters and let them into the building where you're hiding shit. Like he's too dumb to find it earlier. So then we get a sad scene where Drunky McGee leaves behind his robot friend who inexplicably gets sad.
Hey there, did you know I had a robot friend? We used to laugh and play, but someone took him away. He was my 10 gigahertz old pal, my robot friend.
It's sad.
We need to do robot month. It's just so I can have this more. It's too much.
Then we get some robot fuckery and deception with a final showdown between the humans and their copies.
Humans this, humans that, who cares?
And it's so tense because the robots know all the same things that the people do. So since this reporter chick learned to shoot from her dad, the robot also knows how to shoot. How does it end? It doesn't fucking matter. I'll tell you that the big climax is Fonda looking robotic as hell as he leaves, but then he turns and shoots him the fucking bird and runs out. I am not even joking. That's how it ends.
That wasn't part of the film, by the way. That was just him leaving set, and he was done.
I thought it was, hey, check clear, dicks! Yeah, so, I mean, like I said, I'm not sure if it's a future or a present. I'm not even sure if it's dystopian or just a dickhead company. I'm not really sure what was going on. I'm not sure the point of it. Not sure while Yul Brynner was a bald cowboy in a dream sequence. But it kind of sucked. But I still enjoyed it. This is a robot popcorn? A robotic popcorn!
That's how the conservatives are going to be now thinking how they get chips planted inside of us by robot popcorn. It's the next plan.
Yeah.
When
Right.
we put the tariffs in the the movies, and that's
Well, Hollywood's behind it.
Yeah. So this all makes sense now. Okay, we're there. We are there.
Yeah. I said I bagged on it the whole time.
Enjoyed it. So
I
did
did.
you do it?
You know what? I hit like because give me more of this. I
Look,
mean,
man, the crack on the pop of the trailer was good, and just the absurdity has me locked in, man. Just I want it.
yeah. You give me any kind of dystopian anything, especially from the 70s, like. If I hit not like on that, I risk that it says, oh, he doesn't like shitty. No, sir, I do. You give me more of that.
But not Ron. I had the similar situation that you had about saying if you unliked it, you did hit the dislike, you would possibly not get those movies back in there. That's kind of how my ranking went with this movie too, because it falls right into like my high school nostalgia, right? So like that time frame it hit right there. So it was hard for me to not like and like this movie at the same time. It's weird. And that movie, of course, is Stealing Harvard. This 2002 comedy crime is about a home health care executive under the thumb of his fiance's father is forced into petty crime to finance his niece's first year in the Ivy Leagues.
We got into Harvard?
Jason Lee needs money for college.
How much money you got? Nothing. A little more.
Tom Green knows where to get it.
Criminals have lots of money.
Now they're going to take
We walk in, we stick the place up, and we're done.
Is this 100% cotton? I want something that'll breathe.
their best shot.
Put your hands in the air.
Freeze! Now drop the guns.
The paint, it's stuck. Okay, get with it, John.
Stealing Harvard.
That's my oldest friend in the world. He won't talk.
He did it. He's the criminal mastermind here.
PG-13.
Yeah, if you didn't, again, that voice there, again, peak 2002, Tom Green. Like, he was the biggest thing at the time, man. Just everywhere on MTV. And but I think this might be a little bit past that, but still enough, like, he's getting the movie roles. And, yeah.
Yeah, I was a big Jason Lee guy. He was my favorite actor for a handful of years. So
My name is
This
Earl,
should be
baby.
interesting. Oh yeah, see, that came out. I freaked. Like
Yeah.
once I saw him in Mallrats. Oh,
Yeah.
that's my guy.
And like again, that's where my conflict comes in. Coming and watching this movie for the first time, I think ever, but I know I've seen bits and pieces of this from like Comedy Central, whatever. Just
Right.
caught some of it. So I definitely remember the trailer. I remember it being a thing, obviously. So, but again, did I see it all the way through before 2002? Probably not, but it just kind of like your situation. I don't know if it did it or not, or this is like the Mandela effect. I just saw enough pieces of it to think I did. But let's get into it, where their intentions were honorable, their methods were criminal. So for my first note here, the Imagine Entertainment music and the graphic of the water dropping and making the ripples makes you think I'm about to go on an amazing, heartwarming journey. But that's not this movie, though, unfortunately. Early 2000s punk rock music starts with the credits, with graphics and the cast being displayed on the screen. Peak early aughts right here, where like every like early 2000s movie had like some punk rock intro with script coming across, and that was your cast. We get early voiceover exposition from Jason Lee because that's all he did in the early 2000s was voiceover his own work. And he's talking about fate and how there's nothing you can do about it. Like when his parents died when he was 18, and he says, "If that's fate, then so must everything." And the person you end up with, your career, you end up is everything that happens prepackaged or served to me by some higher power. Is this foreshadowing on what's going to happen in this movie? Does he think there's fate involved? Does he think there's a higher power? Let's find out. Cut to a few weeks earlier to him at the dinner with Leslie Mann, and man, do I love that woman. She asked him if she checked the account lately, and she reveals they have the $30,006 in that account, and Jason yells, "We can get married. Trust me. Spend nothing on your wedding and just have fun party. Don't do that for the wedding. Don't do that." I'm guessing the whole movie will have Jason Lee voiceover narrating because the entire time that's all he does. He says in a voiceover that she has an odd habit. She cries very loudly when they make love, and she's crying uncontrollably in bed. Haha, comedy. Again, it's the whole voiceover, and they cut to whatever he's voiceovering. That bit.
Right.
He also says that she has a basket making business. She runs out of the house, is about to turn the corner, and he's the assistant manager at Homespital, a store that sold medical supplies for your home. It's actually kind of a brilliant name. Homespital. Like hospital for your home. Love it. The problem of his job is he works for Elaine's, Leslie Mann's character's father, and naturally there's tension, and her father is none other than Dennis Farina, that fucking guy. Shout out to Cinepho where he wants a casino with both Pepsi and Coke, and he fucking gets it. Farina is so proud that he's talking to Jason Lee, and he's like, "I'm so proud that he has not slept with his daughter," and asks him again, and Jason says no, and he offers him immunity and says, "Look, there's only one chance you can tell me if you slept with my daughter." It's a weird ass conversation to have with your employee / future son-in-law. Like,
yeah, on every level.
So many levels. Also, like, is it kind of pervy if that's like your future son-in-law is banging your daughter?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Just making sure.
Not even close.
So again, that weird conversation ends with Jason says no, and Farina says good, because if you had slept with her, I'd kick your balls into your skull and then have them rattle around up there like dice in a Yahtzee cup. It's pretty graphic, but I like it. It's a good joke. They're about to go to Jason's sister's house, and before they go, he drinks just a glass of milk. What grown-ass man does that? He's like getting ready to go out, and he's just drinking a glass of milk. It's really fucking weird. Hey, we're going to my sister's. I'm going to drink this glass of milk real quick. Like, what?
Yeah.
I'm
pre-game.
She says she's not going there, and we get more voiceover work that Elaine never liked his sister, whose name is Patty, and we cut to a single wide trailer of an old rusty beat-up car in front of it. And he says maybe it's because she's a free spirit. And I say free spirit because I don't feel comfortable calling her sexually indiscriminate trailer trash. And Patty is played by Megan Mullally. Rob Swanson's wife. Nick Offerman. I was like, one of his character. Fucking brilliant comedy couple right there.
Yeah.
He says Elaine wanted he goes into the trailer. He says Elaine wanted me to give this gift basket to you, and she says great because this one is started to reek, and she's using it for a litter box. Haha, they hate each other. Noreen, his niece, comes in, and we get the exposition that they don't know who her dad is, and they have a flashback to her on Halloween with beer cans in her hair, and she reveals she's the Statue of Liberty. I'm not gonna lie, pretty fucking way to do it. Like, her hair is twirled up each the points in the crown. That's how the beer cans are. Pretty fucking inventive. I like it. Now, beer cans, I don't know if you want to go with that for the Halloween costume for a kid, but I like the ingenuity of the can. It's maybe not beer cans when it's a little girl. It's not a flashback. It's home movies, and they're watching them because they're celebrating. He prays that she's not pregnant. She reveals she's getting into Harvard. But as they keep watching the home movies, it's revealed that he promised her he would pay for her college. Oh, shit. Here comes our problem.
Oh.
This is where the plot really starts taking off here. Because, again, how's he going to fucking pay for Harvard for his little niece? So, of course, he's like, panicking, tells her a lot of people are taking a year off nowadays. And there's a lot to learn about being out on the road with just $100 in your pocket. Good advice, Jason Lee. Just go out on the road with $100. See what happens. She says if it's about the money, don't worry. She's saved everything she's ever earned and that they're giving her financial aid. So it's all covered except this little chunk. What do you think that little chunk is, Ron?
30,000.
Ooh, you are $121 off, sir. $29,879.
Oh, damn.
Not too bad. I'm not going to play the price right here.
I'm taking a win on that.
Yes.
Wow.
He now has to tell Elaine that the money that they saved is now not for their wedding in the new house they're about to buy, but his niece. I'm sure this is going to work out smoothly.
Yeah, it's going to go over well.
Yeah. She says her parents fought all the time about money, and that can't happen to us because we have $30,000. Look, I know it's early 2000s, but $30,000 is still not going to set you for life there, Leslie. So pump your brakes on the $30,000 being life-changing, or just life completely ending. Cut to a montage of him asking his family members for $30,000 over the phone, and his grandmother says, "Who do you think I am? Albert fucking Trump?" Albert. She calls him Albert fucking Trump. So that's the one fucking we get in the PG-13 movie here. Albert fucking Trump. Fucking love it.
Oh, man.
He has to go to Duff, Tom Green, who has a landscaping company, Landscape Escape. Again, of course he's awful because he's fucking Tom Green. So he's cutting trees too far down. He's cutting bushes. Again, he's terrible. He's funny. He's Tom Green. He tells Jason that his wife is a dumb, dirty bitch and that the money is better spent on putting it on a paper bag and throwing it over a cliff. God damn. Do you not like Jason Lee's fiance? Tells him to take the $1,000 and go to the track and bet on a 30-1 odd that Joe Vegas is strong on this guy. However, he has an amazing flyer out, and then he has a side business called Dial a Bottle, and he goes and buys beer for underage kids who call him, and he sells a 6-pack to them for $20 a 6-pack. It's a fucking brilliant idea. Early 2000s where you can just call someone and oh my God, it's a brilliant idea. So Tom starts telling Jason about this client he has is loaded, and of course it shows you what he did as he narrates it, because again, it's a Jason Lee thing. At one part, he's drinking milk from a carton and squirting lemon juice into his mouth and shaking his head and swishing around. So again, it's Tom Green. He does silly things. Immediately spits it out, and I'm not gonna lie, I laughed way too hard at this dumbass bit. And of course, he heats a brick of cheese because he needs cheese, because Tom Green needs cheese.
Right. I think he contractually needs it.
Yeah, he's got to say something about cheese. It's a Tom Green movie. So naturally, he found a safe that and tells Jason that he won't miss it, so they should steal the money from the safe. And they go to rob the house, and Tom Green does this hilarity physical comedy where he just climbs in and crashes. Again, Tom Green. Spoiler alert, the guy whose house they're breaking into is home. Tom takes off while Jason is inside, and the guy whose house it is Richard fucking Jenkins. Fucking love that dude. Oh, damn. Too. He said, "Don't shoot me," and asks if he's going to call the cops. And Richard says no, and he says, "What are you going to do to me?" Cut to Richard Jenkins saying his wife passed away 2 years ago, and it's been really lonely, and it's nice to have someone here, and it's revealed that Jason is dressed in his wife's nightgown.
Oh.
And they're not going to spoon, and he's talking to Jason like he's his wife, holding a gun to him, so now they're spooning. He's like... He's like, "Tell me about the time we did." No, that's not what we did. He pushes the gun further into his head. That's not what we did. So they do a photo shoot. He tells them they're done, and he's not gay. Sure, Richard Jenkins, whatever helps you sleep at night, dear dude.
Yeah, right.
He says he needs to tell her about money, and she reveals to him. He goes home to Leslie Mann, and he's like, I need to tell her this is, I don't have the $30,000. I need to take it. So he says to he needs to tell her, and then she reveals to him that she already put the offer on the house, and the money is now in escrow. First of all, it's not how escrow works, but second of all,
yeah, no.
goddamn, you just took the money without even having Jason look at the house. A little impulsive there. She says they got the house. They have sex. She cries.
Yeah.
He says they should stop, and she says, "Do you have intimacy issues? Because we could, this is really not getting the mood going." Yeah, that's what it is. The intimacy issues, not you crying every time you're having sex. Duff wakes them up after they've had sex, and takes Jason away because he says his uncle will give him the $30,000. They go to meet his uncle in a tattoo parlor. His uncle was Seymour Castle, and he keeps telling them it's a little bit they do. Not here, not here. Because he's like, how do you get the $30,000? Not here. And they keep going to another place. Not here. No, another place. Not here. Again, hilarious. Because they start off the tattoo parlor, and they end in the car wash, and they go to a roller rink. They just go to different places. Because it's too dangerous to tell them where the $30,000 come from. He tells them they take so much money in from lottery tickets, that there's no way that they'll steal it and get his $30,000 back, because again, he's insured for it, and he'll get his cut. So, problem solved, right? They go to a toy store, get fake guns, paint them, go rob the store, and they do another hilarious bit about coming up with new names. Again, hilarious, I tell you. No, you're Steve. No, I'm Jeff. No, you're Steve. Again, comedy in 2002 with Tom Green. Of course, things go awry. They get shot at. And then the store clerk is talking to the cop. And John C. McGinley. This cast is like fucking on point for 2002. He goes to tell his niece, decides not to, and instead has one last idea he's going to do with Tom. A job with this guy, Loach. Leslie thinks Jason is having an affair, naturally, because he keeps going out at night in all black clothing. Because, he's trying to steal people or rob people of money. So, of course, he's dressed in all black. She tells her dad, and he's going to find it out and handle it. If he goes back to the house he saw Jason come out of, that Richard Jenkins' house, he's home. Forgot to tell you about that. When he comes running out of Richard Jenkins' house after the first night, Leslie Mann's dad saw him running out of the house in a nightgown. So Richard Jenkins, so they go to the house. He's home, and you guessed it, we get a callback now to Leslie's father in the nightgown. The weirdest callback ever that we get this scene again in Richard Jenkins' house. Did not see that coming as a callback, but I got to call it a win because it's kind of a funny bit, and it's Richard Jenkins. Loach tells them to meet in this parking lot, and of course Loach robs a bank, and they weren't expecting that because why would they? Comedy. So Leslie's waiting up for him after he gets done with the cops because they think they had his car leaving the scene of the liquor store robbery, and he punches the shit out of him because her dad gave her the Polaroid of him and Richard Jenkins, and she thinks he's a cross-dressing transvestite, twisted freak. So again, she thought she was cheating on him. Then she sees the picture that Richard Jenkins took of him, and she's like, "Wait, you're not cheating on me. You're a transvestite, apparently." He finally reveals to her what he's been doing. She loves him and is starting to hate her dad. So she's on board, and they're going to rob her dad's for $30,000.
Oh shit!
Of course, all hell breaks loose when they go to rob the $30,000. Her dad is watching her. The cops are watching them. Loach is watching them. So they all converge at the same time. They get captured. They go to court. And who do you think the fucking judge is revealed to be? Richard Jenkins is the goddamn judge.
Oh shit!
So, guess what?
Nice touch.
He's not gonna charge him, because why would he? He got the spoon with him, and he was in the nightgown.
Yeah.
So of course not gonna.
This swell fella.
In the end, he gets $1,000 from Tom Green. He takes the grand to the track, bets on the horse that's 30-1, and that's how he wins the $30,000.
Oh shit!
He asked Tom how he had the money, but he doesn't know. Another fucking. So he's like, "Where'd you get the $1,000 from?" And Tom Green's like, "I don't know." And guess what? A third and final callback to someone in a nightgown. Roll credits. So Tom Green got the $1,000 by dressing up as Rich Jenkins' wife.
I love it.
It's a full fucking circle there. I already revealed the ending, so that's the end. Yeah, let's rate it. Again, 2002, right in the middle of my high school days. Tom Green, right up again, like in my high school days, nostalgia of like that was comedy back then when you're 15, 16 years old.
Oh hell yeah!
So
nightgown, goddamn.
I know, right? It's a guy in a nightgown. It's for a woman. It's funny.
Right. It's unbelievable.
So again, I laughed at some bits of this movie. Just found it formulaic for the time, most of the time. But I did enjoy it because, again, it took me back some nostalgia. So this is definitely the popcorn that is the last bit from the first batch, and they still haven't started making the second batch yet. So you might get a new kernel here and there when they're getting the bag, but this is the last bit of the first batch of popcorn.
Mixed batch of bottom scrapings.
Exactly. It's formulaic. It's been done before, and much like you, I had it a like button because I do want more cheesy 2002 comedies that will remind me of nostalgia in high school. So I did want to get rid of that category as well. So I hit the like button.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
that
even if they're
wheelhouse for
not
me,
done
like
well.
high school comedies, like it's right there. Yeah.
Right. If you can hit my genre, you don't even have to do it good. Just check some boxes and I'll be all right.
Exactly. So, in a way, it's a double win for us based off of what our criteria is. Maybe not the subtext of the criteria nailed it, but the criteria was met for what we like. So, it's a double win for us.
Yeah.
This might lead into a triple win for us too, for the next episode of what we're going to be doing next. And we will have a guest. We've promised / teased this guest before, but fell through. We're going to have Rob Snow on this podcast from Nostalgia Pit, artist, a rapper, and recently I was on the Nostalgia Pit with them. We were talking about VHS movies and the heyday of the movie store, and we started talking about Surf Ninjas at one point. Because I think Hashi talked about, he had a movie night one time at his restaurant, and the first movie they saw was Surf Ninjas. And I was like, man, 90s like karate / ninja movies were a fucking thing with Three Ninjas and Surf Ninjas and Sidekicks, which Joe will do eventually on this podcast.
Sidekicks is what he went. That's right.
That's right. But so I was like, fuck it, Rob, you're coming on this podcast again. And you're doing some ninja movies with us. So we're going to do ninja movies next episode. We have quite the fucking wheel here, which I'm pretty excited about because I do love a corny ninja fight, especially if you're going to do like, the style of Three Ninjas where it's three kids beating up every grown man in the movie.
Right.
That's how it works, right? A whole army of ninjas of grown men, but these three kids just defeat you. Good job.
So since we were doing a topic, it didn't make sense to do two separate wheels when we could all use the same wheel. And then,
because again, we're searching the same word. We're going to get overlap anyway. So let's just condense it down.
Right. So then, we both didn't put Ernest Rides Again on there.
Which, again,
I don't know why it shows up, but I searched
clear
fucking
ninja movie as Ernest Rides Again.
Maybe he's got some sneaky ninja
Much
skills.
like
Kinda
Yikes' Tony Shalhoub movie being Ransom or whatever, Payback or whatever movie he got. Yeah, Tony Shalhoub
without Tony
is
Shalhoub.
synonymous with Mel Gibson. So
Ninja. Jim Varney.
So I don't know about you. I added some like clearly silly movies like City Cops, and it's like this white girl holding Raphael's like styes.
Huh.
Yeah, so
I think I got a lot of 80s stuff because that was kind of my wheelhouse. There was serious ninja shit in the 80s. They outpaced vampires, and there was plenty of 80s vampire movies. Ninjas fucking everywhere. I can't even keep track of them. Yeah, the ones I watched as a kid aren't even in here. They were simply called Ninja.
All right, so the one that I said I kept in for you was Ninja Shark. I I love shark movies that are fucking dumb from probably, USA Network done. So I'm off I'm all for that. So let's see what you get, Ron. You'll go first here. Let's see.
Yeah, we got Ninja Terminator on there. I think that's out of the 80s. Wait a minute, is this a sequel to the...
It is a sequel. We might need to do a swap here because this is I put on there for another one. Three Ninjas Knuckle Up. This is I want to say it's the second one because the third one I didn't put on the list involves Hulk Hogan because I don't give Hulk Hogan his credit here. So
yeah, I'll gladly skip Three
Ninjas Knuckle Up.
Well, if I haven't seen the first one, will I be lost? Because I mean,
I want to say
I'm not going to catch
character or two characters return, Grandpa and I want to say Rocky. Colt and Tum Tum are different, I believe. Could be wrong. Again, I've not seen that movie in probably 25 years, 30 years maybe. It's been a while. So I was like, let me put this movie on here. Of course, you get it.
Of course, yes.
So let's see what I get next.
Just what I wanted.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun putting in a sequel when you never watched the original, right?
Right.
All right, see what I get.
I said, this piece of cinema, I just won't be able to catch up. And I'll have to go back and rewatch it. Oh shit. Oh, man, that looks like one of mine from the mid-'80s.
I think this is like 2024.
That looks delightful. Is it?
I think so because I Night of the Assassin. How badass of a title!
It screams 1986 to me, but I don't know.
It screams every 8. Like there was probably a Night of the Assassin from the 2020s down to 1970s. Like there's a Night of the Assassin somewhere.
Every decade, totally different movie.
Yeah,
same name.
Just some random assassin. Doesn't matter what color. Or it's not even an assassin or whatever. It's just like a Night of the Assassin. It's this guy just does nothing of assassinating. All right, so let's get to our guest again. Start talking ninja movies with him. He loves his three Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So Ninjas is right up his alley to have him back on. So it makes sense that we're doing this. So
yeah,
let's see what he gets.
Yeah.
Oh shit. The classic that we started talking about in the first place. Like how crazy the wheel end up in this. Surf Ninjas. Fucking A, man.
What are the odds?
Like responsible, I'm gonna go say it, responsible for somewhat, if not all, of Game Gear success. Fucking Game Gear infomercial. That's what it was. Just like Talk Boy was invented for Home Alone 2, Game Gear was made to be promoted from this movie. Stand on that take. I will always stand on that take. Oh, man. You got 2 early 90s amazing ninja movies and possibly a brand new ninja movie we're watching. So a little bit of nostalgia, a little bit of modern day stuff.
A lot of ninjas. Yeah.
It's a lot of ninjas. But I think that's going to do it for us for this episode. We got our movies. And we found out that Tubi has matched our criteria. Let's see if the next episode matches our criteria as well. As we become the Night Assassin with 3 ninjas knuckling up while they surf. Because they're ninja surfing. Moto surf!
Ninjas!
You're listening to To Be Determined on the Half-Ass Podcast Network.